Good morning, all. All protocols observed. I'm going to stray a little from the type of speeches that were given today, and I'm going to give you the story of my journey into ICT, or in the engineering field, dominated by the opposite sex. It's quite refreshing to see all these young women venturing into the world of the digital technology. You're quite fortunate that you have been exposed, you have your phones, you have the ability to do your research of what you want to do. In my younger days, that wasn't available to us. Any research we had to do, we had to go to the library. I didn't even have a telephone. I didn't have a computer. Well, we didn't have the internet then. So, take the opportunity and make good use of it. So, my journey into ICT started just like you're in third form, approaching fifth form. All the girls were discussing what they're going to do after they graduate from high school. And I remember someone asked me, "So Marjorie, what are you going to do?" And I said, "I don't know." I had absolutely no idea what I wanted to do, what I wanted to become. I was happy. I was in fourth form. My parents, my family was paying for me. They did their duty. They paid for me to go to school. I did my part. I carried home good grades, so there was nothing to worry about. What am I going to become? I'm not worrying about that. But after they asked me the question, I said, I have to get serious. What do I really want to do? And I really didn't know. What I didn't want to do, I wanted a job that wasn't static. I wanted something with hands-on. I wanted something that was exciting. Back then, it was prestigious to work in the banks. You had all the girls with their faces well made up. They were wearing pantyhose. Up until this day, I hate pantyhose. And their high heels. And it just wasn't for me. Don't get me wrong. Bankers, don't knock me down. But that is how I felt at that time. It was just too static. I want to move around, do things. Growing up, I grew up with my cousin, Steve Parker. He's an engineer now at Liat. And he was always building gadgets. He was always experimenting. And I was his helper. He was older than I am. And I was his helper. And it was always a good feeling when you build something and you see it work. And we only had ABS at that time, was one channel. And he said to me, I can pick up more TV channels. And I said, "Oh." He said, "I can build a big antenna." I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, let's build the antenna." So he got the material, the mop stick, everything, and he built the antenna. I helped him. He did most of the work, though. He mounted the antenna at the side of the house. And, we had to tweak it. He connected it to the TV, and he tweaked it and go clockwise and turn it anti-clockwise. And then, bam, we picked up a signal. And we connected to ZIZ TV. Now, that is a station in St. Kitts. Don't ask me what they showed on St. Kitts. I wasn't interested. All I was interested and happy about is that we built something, and it worked the way he wanted it to work. And that was the kind of job I was looking for, something that was exciting, something where I see results from the work that I did. Also, I grew up in a wooden house, and the partitions, they didn't go right up to the ceiling. My grandmother, her bedroom was at the front of the house, the living room was at the front of the house, and the television was in the living room. So we weren't allowed to watch the programs on The only thing that I remember watching was, I watched Peyton Place with my grandma. We had to watch Cooking Magic on a Friday. And we always had to listen to the news. I think it was 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock. And there were no late night movies, so we would get up late at night and we would put on the TV, lower the volume, and we'll, watch a movie, try to watch a movie. And you'll hear, Steve and Marjorie, take off the TV, because she could see the glare in the ceiling. So what we did, we got a sheet, we put it over the TV, to get rid of the glare. But then she could still hear it, even though, because the place was quiet. You didn't have all the bars and all the music, so it was really quiet. So she could hear, and she would say, take off my TV, you're gonna pay AP away, let me give AP all my money. So we had to come up with a plan. So we got some little receivers out of some phones, I can't say which phones, and we connected them to the TV. And, so we put it at our ear like a little earphone, and we had the sheet over like a tent, and we got to watch our TV late at night. So it was fun. So working in the bank wasn't for me. That wasn't an option. I only have 10 minutes, but I'll be quick. The thought of being a doctor or a lawyer was just a thought, because I know that my family couldn't afford to send me away. And so the only other option was the Antigua State College. The tuition at Antigua State College, at that time, I think it was free, or it could have been $50. I don't know, I can't remember. But they had 3 departments. I had to decide, well, which department I'm going to be in. Is it A-levels, engineering, or commercial? Economy commercial, because I didn't study the subjects, typing, shorthand, so I wouldn't qualify. I didn't want to do A-levels because I didn't know what job I wanted to do, so which subjects am I going to choose? I didn't know. So I said, you know what, by default, by process of elimination, I'm doing engineering. And I did my research, I asked questions, and I was told that you had to do an entrance exam. And the biggie for me was that a career in engineering, you get paid well. Now you see all the dollar signs. So I said, definitely it's engineering. I'm doing engineering. What aspect of engineering? I didn't even know they had aspect of engineering. It was engineering. Anyway, I graduated from the Antigua Girls High School in 1986. And I did the entrance exams for the engineering department at the State College. I passed it. And that's where, I wouldn't even say struggle, but the roadblocks of getting into engineering. It was like, why are you going to engineer? Well, I got my CXC results, and I qualified to go to A-levels. So it's like, why do you want to go to engineering? Engineering is a waste of time. Engineering is for boys. But all I saw in engineering was the dollar sign, and I'm going to engineering. So I was summoned to a meeting with the principal, and Dr. Francis, was Dr. Francis then, and he tried his best to convince me to do A-levels. And I said, Dr. Francis, I can't do A-levels. What work am I going to do when I finish with the subjects that I do in A? I don't know what to do. I want to do engineering. And he was adamant, he wasn't backing down, and I wasn't backing down. And I said to him, so, if I do some subjects in A-levels, you allow me to go to engineering? And he said, that's a brilliant idea. And that's how I started in engineering. So that opened the door for females in the engineering department. 4 weeks after, I think it was a month after, another female, apparently she tried to get into the engineering, and it didn't happen. But I went, opened the door, and she came over. It was very stressful for me the first year at State College. because I had to do A-levels and I had to do engineering. My heart wasn't with A-levels. I did all I could for them to kick me out of A-levels. The hardest part for me was actually I had 2 sets of uniforms. So when the first class I did in A-levels, I showed up in my engineering uniform, and the lecturer, I mean, it wasn't really a pleasant experience, but he asked me what I was doing there. I guess Dr. Francis didn't communicate with him the agreement. So I told him, well, speak to Dr. Francis. So I wasn't recognized as a student in A-levels because I had on my engineering uniform. So I went and I bought A-levels uniform. So you can imagine I have to have the 2 sets of uniforms going to the college. I mean, I didn't have any transportation, so I had to fold it and put it in a bag. It's not on a hanger. So when I'm finished from engineering and have classes in A-levels, I had to change off and looking like Rumpel-Fumpy, going to A-levels. And it was really, really stressful for me. But after the first year, my lecturer in engineering, he came to me and he said, Marjorie, you need to decide, make a decision what you want to do. Are you going to stay in A-levels, or are you going to come and stay wholeheartedly in engineering? I did electronics in engineering. He said, you have your practical assignments that you have to submit for your exams, or else you're going to fail. I said, I'm not failing in engineering because that means I'm not going to make that money that they say that I can make. So I dropped out of A-levels. And I completed and I graduated in 1988. Prior to that, just as we finished, we were encouraged to send out applications so I can now apply for a job because I want an engineering position. So I applied to all the banks. I checked the yellow pages and I got all the banks, the hotels. I applied to Cable and Wireless, and I applied to LIAT. I never received any feedback from the banks and the hotels. I heard from Cable and Wireless and I heard from LIAT. Cable and Wireless, they rejected my application. They said that they weren't taking female techs. And I was really disappointed because I did my internship at Cable and Wireless. I was sent from the State College. I worked in the engineering department. I think it was for 6 weeks with the guys at Cable and Wireless. And they too confirmed that, yes, you get good pay. So that was a drive, and I was vexed. You understand? I heard from LIAT, and they invited me for an interview. And I got a job. So I started it was Carnival Tuesday, so the Wednesday, I started working, 1988, and I was the first female to work in the avionics department. That was challenging for me, physically and mentally. Mentally, the engineer that they assigned me to, and probably I can understand. I'm not looking at excuses, but he refused to speak to me. He reassigned me to a senior mechanic, and I had to work with the mechanic. I mean, there were just hundreds of guys working at LIAT, and I mean, he was over all these mature guys. I don't want to say what I want to say, and to have this little girl, I was just only 105 pounds. I mean, probably he couldn't relate to me. I don't know. But overall, it was a good experience. Physically, to work on the planes, it wasn't easy. The equipment, the batteries, one of the batteries for the Avro was like 80 pounds, and they put me in the battery room. And I remember Jojo Aparicio, he came to me and he said, Marjorie, you need to go to the gym. You need to build some muscles. You're too skinny, you know? And I started the gym. I started the Barrows Gym, and it was on High Street. Yes, and as I said, overall, it was a good experience, but it was hard work. The first night I worked, well, I started in the summer, so All of the planes, they would go out in the day, and they serviced them at night. So I started on the, what they call a graveyard shift. So that was 10 to 6. The latest I've ever stayed up is when we put that sheet over the TV and watch the TV. I remember they assigned me to a bathroom because there were no females there. So they said I could use this bathroom. I went in the bathroom and they had a long, skinny bench. And I tell you, I was sleepy and I let off on that bench. I woke up because they were looking for me, so they were pounding on the door, and I got up. So it was good. The guys were good. I mean, you heard things that probably they forgot that I was there, but they spoke. So in the summer of 1989, just about 1 year as I started, I got a call from a very good friend who worked at Cable Wireless, and she said, Marjorie, there's a position for technician at Cable Wireless. I said, but they don't take female techs. So she said, well, call them. So I called the HR manager. It was a different HR manager, and he said, yes, apply. I applied. I went for an interview, and I did a short exam, and I got the job. And that's how I started working at Cable Wireless as the first female technician. The experience at Cable Wireless is phenomenal. The guys are awesome. They're so awesome that I marry one. You understand? They were very supportive. You had the likes of Clement Samuel. He's now at Digicel. And you had Yves Ephraim. Now, Yves is a different kind of person. I think they should have a search engine that's called YE for Yves Ephraim. I mean, the troubleshooting, the way how he supported me, he taught me how to troubleshoot, effective troubleshooting, critical thinking, to be logical. When you're troubleshooting a circuit, you know, you have to take it in segments. That is Yves. He writes down everything. I mean, the guys were great. All of them came to my baby shower when I got pregnant. Yeah, it was really nice. So to you girls, I want to say, okay, let me just get my notes together. Oh, so let me ask a question. Any of you plan on going to State College? Nobody? I'm speaking to the young ladies. Nobody? Well, State College is a good stepping stone. I have 2 great stories about State College. You know, everybody's always saying State College is a waste of time, State College is this, When my daughter graduated from high school, she went to Christ the King. She didn't know exactly what she wanted to do. She said she wanted to do culinary arts. I know that she watched Iron Chef, and it looked glamorous, so she wanted to do cooking. So, and I know that she wasn't passionate about it. So I'll go to work, and I'll call home, and I'll say, can you season up the chicken? And she'll say, Mom, can you bring me home some gloves? She wants the gloves to season up the chicken. I said, well, culinary arts is not for you. You're going to State College. And she said, but everybody's saying that State College is no good. State College is a waste of time. I said, I went to State College. It wasn't a waste of time. So I signed her up. She didn't speak to me for a few days. She was upset because I sent her to waste her time at State College. Well, it's good to waste your time at State College than waste your time at home doing nothing. She graduated, she went to A-level, she graduated with honors, and she went off to university. I got a call from her one day, and she said, Mommy, you know, it was a good thing I went to State College. So I said, hello. I think you have the wrong mommy, and I think this is the wrong Nikki. She said, Mommy, I got back my results. Now, she sent off her CAPE results for evaluation so she could get credits. And those credits from her CAPE results it took off almost a year in university. So State College is a good stepping stone. She was 16 years old, and I wasn't ready to let her from under my wings. So she matured, and she went to university, and the grades did her well. For me, yes, everybody's saying that engineering is not good for me. When I started Cable and Wireless, 1 month after they sent me for training, 9-month training course. It was 18 months, but split it. And the first 9 months, the course that I did, they spent good money to send me to England to their college. It was the exact same program I did at the State College. I kid you not. They call it Sitting Gills, but they call it BTEC, but it was the same thing. And I did well. I got all distinctions. So my advice to you girls is to stay focused. Working in the field with these guys, it's, how to put it, you have to develop the skill of control. These guys are really nice. You can get yourself into trouble working with all these guys. If you don't understand what I'm saying, come and check me after. You understand? We need to get rid of that stigma that because I work with all these guys, I'm one of the guys. I am not one of the guys. I am a girl. You understand? And for the women, this is a biggie. We need to support each other. We are our biggest enemies. We don't support each other. We need to stop it. And for the guys who say that the woman this and woman that, don't bother with them, they gossip. They gossip just like women. You understand? So in closing, I urge you to remain focused. Find that one thing that you're passionate about and you master it. Do your research. You said you want to explore ICT. Do your research in ICT. What do I want to do in ICT? You understand? Research the subjects that, if you're going to State College, research the subjects that you need to qualify to get into State College and to qualify you to put you on the road to ICT. Learn something new every day. Do volunteer work. If you check the ads in the papers, they always ask for experience. Do volunteer work so you can gain experience. Develop good work ethics. Go to work on time. Have good attitude, and it's not the rolling of the head and all that. Be respectful. Respect authority. Be a team player. Find a hobby. Have fun. Enjoy life. And I'm encouraging you guys, I'm encouraging you girls, to do ICT. The possibilities are endless. It is exciting, and as I say, it's financially rewarding. So what I want you to do is to jump on board and come with me and do ICT. Thank you.